What if you were able to have your loved ones live on with you long after they're gone? To hear their voice, experience their laugh, get their advice, and tell inside jokes that only the two of you know. If someone told you they could make that happen, would you take them up on that offer? In 2017, John Mayer, the CEO of artificial intelligence company Forever Voices, did just that. He developed a bot version of his father who recently passed away. He could chat with his dad whenever he wanted, engage with him, and, for a moment, escape the pain of him being gone. Since then, the AI market for bots based on real people, influencers, or celebrities has exploded. Companies have been built and rebuilt to capitalize on the AI craze, but none has more potential for influence than this one: Meta. So when Meta introduced its new AI features, tech reporters and regular users alike leaned in. Meta's new features include customized stickers, image editing, and AI assistant, and one development in particular that's thrown everyone for a loop: a new cast of AI bots. These bots aren't your run-of-the-mill AI bots though. Each one of them has a unique backstory and expertise in a particular niche. They have profiles on Instagram and Facebook, and most importantly, they're voiced by cultural icons and influencers like Tom Brady, Naomi Osaka, Kendall Jenner, Mr. Beast, and Paris Hilton. But confusingly, the characters are different from their instantly recognizable celebrity voices. You're not chatting sports with Tom Brady, but rather a guy named Brew, who just so happens to look and sound exactly like Tom Brady. You can talk Dungeons and Dragons with the Dragon Master, voiced by Snoop Dogg, or look for advice from Kendall Jenner's AI Billy, your no BS ride or die companion. Some of these characters, like Jenner's, make sense. Others leave you wondering what the connection even is. For example, Paris Hilton is a crime-solving detective. What's the connection there? Ironically, these bots were unveiled at Meta's annual product showcase Connect. At the same time, the Actors Union, the Screen Actors Guild, was on strike, partially over demands around limiting AI-generated content that threatens to put actors out of work. So how did Meta get a bunch of non-actor celebrities to give away their likeness? Well, they didn't give it away at all. They were reportedly paid up to $5 million each for 6 hours of work and endless usage of their face and voice. Meta's deep pockets and cutting-edge AI technology called Llama position the company perfectly to take on such a high-profile AI project. Unfortunately, a lot of the new bots are generally loathed as creepy and confusing. Chatting with AI Tom Brady or Brew might be a fun novelty at first, but quickly can evolve into a far less interesting conversation about football than one might expect with the actual Tom Brady. Novelty, it turns out, wears off pretty quickly. So why is Meta taking such a big chance on this new chatbot program that seems doomed to fail from day one? Well, just like many others, it's trying to win the artificial intelligence market. There's never been a more exciting time and competitive time for AI, and Meta is trying to do things a little differently than its main competitors like OpenAI. Llama, its homegrown tech, is open source, which means Meta is giving developers around the globe access to its software. This is in stark comparison to the technology behind ChatGPT, which OpenAI keeps under wraps. Meta compares this strategy with Linux, an open source PC alternative to Windows in the 90s and 2000s. Linux made its way into corporate servers worldwide and became a key component of the modern market. Meta is hoping that Llama will have the same effect. In their eyes, by making the technology open source, they're allowing third parties to make improvements that could result in better efficiency and ultimately make it cheaper for Meta to run the AI software. And what better way to keep its software relevant than creating a pop culture moment using Snoop Dogg or Paris Hilton AI bots? Ultimately, the idea isn't that original. It's the same concept used by another company called Replica, which creates chatbots and lets users design and interact with their own AI companions. Just this time it's with famous people. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg's vision for these bots isn't just to have a famous face to look at. He builds them as different AIs for different things. He wants the AI bots to help users not only decide what to have for lunch or what to wear for a wedding, but also to create travel itineraries or execute recipe ideas with experts like host Padma Lakshmi and chef Roy Choi. The goal, which may or may not have been reached, is to normalize these chatbots by making them feel both familiar and distinct. In that vein, the celebrity strategy makes sense. Seeing a celebrity's face is more enticing than just a random generated AI face that we don't recognize but might vaguely look like our mail carrier. Also, as a society, we've proven our collective obsession with and trust in celebrities. We consider them credible on a particular topic because if they've achieved this level of success, then they must somewhat know what they're talking about, right? This kind of aspirational appeal brings out strong emotions in users looking to emulate a celebrity's lifestyle or attributes. Meta hopes that giving unlimited access to that celebrity at our fingertips will make users feel like they're getting closer and closer to the life they want to lead. But the difference here is that as much as we might admire Tom Brady for his talented mental and physical capabilities, we're not actually getting those capabilities through his AI, we're just getting what Brew, who happens to look and sound like Tom Brady, can scrape from the internet. The ultimate goal here might not be to make us believe we're talking to Naomi Osaka about tennis, but to keep us engaged with her, so we spend more time on our Meta app of choice. The goal is also to get you to give Meta as much data about your personal life as possible. The more you talk to Brew, the more you reveal about yourself. Meta could then use this information to sell you even more personalized ads, and what's worse is that they can also sell that data to data brokers who then sell the data to other companies that want to sell you stuff. When these data brokers get hacked, all your information gets in the hands of nefarious actors who want to scam you, or even worse. A few months ago, my friend got this message from Google telling him that some of his passwords are found in a data breach from a company he'd never heard of before. And right after he started getting personalized email ads from scam companies, this is how scammers are able to figure out your phone number, name, and even your address. The good news is that you can get these data brokers to delete the information they have about you, but sadly, to do it manually can take years. This is why I love using the sponsor of today's video, Incogni. All you have to do is create an account and grant them the right to work for you, and that's it. Incogni will reach out to data brokers on your behalf to request all your personal data be deleted and deal with any objection from their end. To get started, sign up using the link in the description. The first 100 people to use code Aperture with the link below get 60% off of Incogni. It's completely risk-free for 30 days, so I encourage everyone to at least give it a try, and if you're not happy, you get a full refund anyway. But I can assure you, when you see just how many data brokers have your information, you'll definitely want to keep your subscription. Back to our story. That's because Meta is seeing its young users, specifically those they're trying to retain and keep with these new celebrity face bots, leave in a mass exodus for trendier apps like TikTok. In order to keep up with other AI companies like OpenAI, Google, or Microsoft, Meta needs to retain as much of its influential audience as possible. And no one is more influential on the future of technology than young people. But the reality of these new AI celebrities is that, unlike a conversation with a real-life celebrity or hero, you'll probably leave disappointed. So far, the chats seem awkward and feel more like words dreamt up by a Facebook executive talking to a Gen Zer, not an authentic exchange, and you're not even chatting with the celebrity avatar the entire time, but instead texting with them, punctuated by an occasional video where you might, for a second, feel like you and Snoop Dogg are BFFs. These chatbots, like others, present a larger issue: misinformation, because chatbots easily generate false or misleading information in a phenomenon called hallucination, and that's because generative AI, like Llama, relies on algorithms that analyze how humans string words together on the internet. Chatbots learn to talk and what to talk about by analyzing massive amounts of digital text on the internet. They're guessing the next word in a sequence of words like a mega powerful autocomplete tool. And because chatbots are just scraping the internet to figure out what words to say next, they are susceptible to the same false information we are if we do a simple search. The difference is that we can usually determine a trustworthy source from a misleading one. Chatbots, at least for now, often don't have that skill. Our discernment skills as real-life human beings also come into play when we're talking to a run-of-the-mill chatbot like ChatGPT. We know it's not a real person, it doesn't have a face or voice that tries to create some kind of identity. The new Meta AI chatbots are the opposite. The goal of using celebrities is to trick the part of our brain that wants to identify the chatbot as what it is: software. But software with the face and likeness of Paris Hilton doesn't really feel like software. These meta celebrity chatbots are attempting to break down a critical boundary between the real and artificial world by trying to convince us, successfully or not, that we're talking not to just real people, but some of the most recognizable people in the world. They are our companions who reel us into conversation. Meta wants us to feel connected to these chatbots not just because they have the information, but because we can relate to them. And if we relate to them, we're more likely to stay logged onto the app. Reportedly, if you say goodbye to some of these Meta AI chatbots, they politely try to get you to stay, like a best friend begging to stay at the party just for a few more minutes. Meta is betting we will form a relationship with the chatbot characters, but that's not necessarily good. Parasocial relationships are non-reciprocal connections that form often between a fan and a celebrity, or in this case an AI who looks like a celebrity, but for some people these bonds can feel real and lead to emotional turmoil. In the movie Her, a relationship between a person searching for a connection and an AI that gives it to them isn't to be taken lightly, and while at the time Her might have seemed like a fun idea for a movie, it's now the world we're quickly approaching. A 2021 study from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics found that people spend less than an hour a day socializing, even with members of their own households, and in contrast, we spend about 3 hours a day engaging with media like television or social media. The amount of time we spend online makes it easy to form parasocial relationships with celebrities and influencers online. We feel like we know them, but usually we don't. The relationship exists only for us, not them. These kinds of relationships can lead to materialism or even parasocial breakups, which can have lasting emotional damage, just like a real-life heartbreak. By feeling so close to celebrities online, we fall into an illusion of intimacy. That illusion goes even further when you've got AI bots that look and sound like famous people. Because while you might obsess over your favorite influencers' outfits or what they eat for dinner, the fact that they never talk back to you is a constant reminder that you aren't actually in their life. But if their face was on your phone, talking back to you in their voice, even if the thoughts weren't their own, wouldn't that complicate the emotions you have towards them? Users of these metabots might think they're getting more deeply involved with their favorite celebrities, but they're not. What will really push these parasocial relationships over the edge is when celebrities decide to create full AI versions of themselves. For now, Meta has limited the actual celebrity to a very small portion of these chatbots, but what if everything they said back to you was actually based on their real personality? That would probably be more enticing. Of course, there are real concerns about creating full AI versions of celebrities. It might help them better interact with fans, a positive or negative, depending on which famous person you ask, but it could also lead to videos of famous people saying or doing something terrible. If the internet was suddenly filled with AI versions of our most famous people, how would we deduce what's real and what isn't? Many studios have been resistant to striking actors because they, just like the actors, know that there's so much potential in AI versions of performers. And now they don't need to look any further than these meta celebrity chatbots to understand what the path might look like. If 6 hours of work from Tom Brady can create that realistic of a video, then there's seemingly no limit to how the technology could be used for better or for worse. Some are trying to get ahead of it. The singer Grimes said she would split the royalties with anyone who successfully used her voice in an AI-generated song. Karen Marjorie, a 23-year-old influencer, created a virtual version of herself as a romantic companion for any fans willing to pay. As for Meta, time will tell the fate of their new AI chatbots. Will the novelty wear off? Will people get sick of boring conversations with someone they expect to be anything but boring? Is a chat with fake Snoop Dogg about Dungeons & Dragons really more exciting than talking to real humans about it? Probably not. But even if these new AI tools seem lackluster, they're certainly a sign of what's to come. A world in which we are potentially more connected to AI than our own family. A world in which celebrities become far more accessible to ordinary people than we could have ever dreamed. Do we want that world? Meta sure does.